Welcome back to Bulls and Bears. I'm your host, Adam Batisco, having some laughs, having a good time in studio, hanging with the boys, hanging with the fellas. Always a good time here at Bulls and Bears. Don't forget to head over to Facebook, like us at Bulls and Bears Radio, and of course, at any time if you got a question for the coach, 24/7, call the coach hotline, 877-904-TRADE. That's 877-904-TRADE. We got a good question coming up a little bit later. Excited about that. And if your question ends up on air, prize pack, a B&B prize pack for you.
Yep, some lessons. There's just a little thumb drive you can put in your computer.
Swag bag.
Some lessons in them. Swag bag.
T-shirt.
Bulls and Bears T-shirt, which they're becoming collector's items.
The new one's coming out soon with the new
yeah,
caricatures.
we've updated the logo. So the old logo ones are going to become vintage. So
we'll have to update the Facebook
you don't know what that'll
page.
be worth in 20 years from now. You just put that in somewhere in a fireproof room.
Fireproof.
20
It's
years
the nice
from now,
cotton. It's the good
20 years
cotton.
from now when we're on CNBC and Fox and everything, and everybody knows us, we're household names, then you're going to want a Bulls and Bears shirt then.
By that point, I want to be under the radar.
Yeah.
I want to be off the grid.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Well, we have the great faces for radio.
Absolutely.
We've heard.
As our mothers always say.
Yeah.
Champ, talking about a variety of things. One of the things that we need to talk about is a lot of people utilize the market for retirement. A lot of people utilize the market for, to park money, buy and hold. They just tuck money away and they do what they would do with it. A lot of people that I know, professional traders and investors, they trade for income. They trade for lifestyle. They trade for additional money. Let's take a moment. Let's talk about that. What does it look like if somebody, take the investment side out of it, the 10, 20, 30 years that a lot of people do, but what if somebody wanted to make a couple bucks extra a week or maybe a couple grand a month? What does that look like?
Well, the hottest, latest, greatest thing is Bitcoin. And for a lot of people, the thing's just gone to the moon in price. And people ask me all the time. I was in church. Somebody asked me about Bitcoin the other day. They hear us on Bulls and Bears. And I said the same thing I would say to anybody. I said, I love the fact that price is going up. Nothing like being right when market goes higher and making money. I said, but the problem is first and foremost in the Bitcoin arena is that there is no fiat. In other words, the currency has no government that backs its value. It doesn't have a commodity that backs its value. It's a digital currency. And they could decide that Bitcoin's worth zero. That could happen. They've devalued the actual U.S. dollar in the past. You've got a digital currency that really is not a fiat. And what a fiat means is that most major currencies that are trading in the financial markets, the dollar, the euro, commodities, the gold, silver, but most global market currencies are fiat currencies, which means that there's a government that is backing up the value of that particular currency. See, if you have a dollar bill, it's just a dollar bill. It's a piece of paper. And what makes it valuable is that it has value because the U.S. government backs the value of that dollar. It has a dollar worth of value. Now, prior to it being a fiat currency, which means that it's backed up by the government that produces it, we had commodities that actually backed currencies. The U.S. dollar used to be on the gold standard, which meant that if the government devalued the dollar to zero, you could go to Fort Knox with that dollar. They'd give you $1 worth of gold. And you'd have something that had physical value. And that's why a lot of people, when we talk about a collapse of the market or a collapse of the economy, go to physical commodities. What's the problem with Bitcoin? It's not a physical commodity that backs it, and it doesn't have a fiat or a government that makes it valuable. So there's a lot of opportunity in that currency, in that cryptocurrency, and it's gone from 5,000 to 16,000 in the last 90 days, which is worrisome because no tree grows to the sky. And you got to find areas where there's more sellers and buyers, where price is going to collapse ultimately. We talk about that all the time with Bulls and Bears. So the big issue is, well, it's a great, sexy currency. What else can I use? Well, you could trade Forex. You could trade the U.S. dollar. You could trade the euro. You could trade the yen. There's so many things you could trade for income that have a backing. In other words, your account won't be told that it's worth zero tomorrow because the currency isn't worth zero. They've devalued it. And so what's great about that is that there's other things you can use like futures. There's so many things that we can use in the financial markets on a daily, weekly basis to generate income that are proven products and, more importantly, can't get taken to zero immediately. In other words, for the dollar to go to zero, a lot has to happen. For the Bitcoin to go to zero, anything can happen. It's a digital currency, so be careful. So I just wanted to kind of give a full warning to the listeners that there's great things out there that they could trade at them, as you well know, that aren't Bitcoin, that have that exchange backing, that have a fiat backing, and more importantly, we want to make sure that they understand how to manage risk, because if you don't manage risk, you'll have no risk to manage, especially when it comes to trading for income.
Well, you know what? Bitcoin is truly right now gambling, and it's the the wild, wild west. It's not regulated, and anything can happen. And if you're out there, just treat it as gambling. Don't treat it as anything else. And
don't put your nest egg in.
Exactly. I'm not trying to take care of the family with that. But Champ, what you talk about a variety of other things, and absolutely, there's tons of different things that people can trade in the financial markets. Online Trading Academy has a class specifically for trading for income, because a lot of people don't realize that there are opportunities where if you want to make monthly or weekly income from the market, you can do so.